Jason Paige.
What's up, beautiful people? Jason Paige here. I am here yet again to connect with you guys on an intimate level, on a basic level that doesn't involve singing, dancing, creating, jumping around. I'm just here to give you guys a little bit of my own personal perspective on a particular subject. And today we are going to be talking about something that I've been practicing for the past 3.5 years, roughly, fasting. I don't know if you guys have heard, but there's lots of people that are getting into fasting now. I've been into it for a while, and I just want to tell you a little bit about the basics of what it is. Fasting is thought to be a way to connect yourself with a primal state that mankind is supposed to be in, or is programmed to be in. Our bodies are here to be able to sustain without eating, because finding food has not always been as easy as it is right now. In fact, it's everywhere. It's so ubiquitous that's one of the major realizations that I've had about fasting when I first started. So the idea is that your body has these superpowers, basically. It is able to feed off of the bad cells in your body. All of the toxins that are in your body can be removed by your body when it doesn't have anything else to eat. When you can't sustain yourself on the food that you'd find, your body looks in, it burns the fat, it burns the waste inside of you. It's called autophagy. When you reach this state, that's when your body turns in and looks for those dead cells. There's lots of studies out there. You can search for all the studies on fasting, but one in particular that's very interesting is that in cancer patients, there was they had two groups: cancer patients getting regular chemotherapy and cancer patients getting chemotherapy and fasting. And the fasting group does way better than the other group, because the body is going after all of those harmful cells. And there's constant barrage of Instagram health videos that are proclaiming fasting can cure so many things. And I didn't do it to cure anything. I think it probably does very well for a lot of chronic diseases and people that can't find a way out of whatever it is they're doing. They can try fasting, and it will be a way for them to heal themselves. And the fasting can be anything from intermittent fasting, which is just eating once a day after like a 12 to 16 hour period, having like an 8-hour window that you eat in, or even a 6-hour, 4-hour window that you eat in, and then you don't eat anything else. That's just intermittent fasting daily, or a full water fast where you're just drinking water for 24 hours to 48 hours to up to, some people do 20 and 30-day fasts. Now, I haven't gone that extreme, but I started with a 3-day fast. Water fast. I just drank water. I drank distilled water the first time. You can also drink spring water. There's different people that believe different things about what kind of water you want to drink. Hydrogen water also is something that people are drinking during fasts. But the point is, there's no food. There's just water. And the first 24 hours is very, very confusing, because if you've never done it before, I mean, this is something that supposedly human beings will be doing all the time, like regularly, because food was not plentiful, and our bodies are programmed to be able to handle this. But in our current society, it has never happened. In my entire life of 52 years, I had never spent a day without eating, not even by accident, like somewhere that I wasn't. I've spent almost a day, but I'd always eat something. So to have to go 24 hours without eating is very odd. Your body doesn't know what it's like and needs to get adjusted to it. So the second day, you're sort of forgetting about food a little bit, because now your body is sort of done with the initial cravings and the psychological element of I need to eat. I've just spent so much of my life thinking about eating that now that I'm not thinking about it, what do I do? And what I wind up doing is lots more work, lots more productivity, lots more energy spent on things that I needed to get done and being productive. And I recognized how much time I spend dealing with food. There's first of all the energy that your body has to spend dealing with the food that it no longer has to do. I think food takes up a very considerable, digestion takes up a considerable amount of the body's energy. So you have this additional energy to do things in the world. You have like a clarity and a focus. By the third day is when they say autophagy kicks in, and your body starts eating all of the dead cells in your body and turning in for its sustenance. And this is the helpful stage in terms of what they say you can reverse diseases when you get to the third day on. And what happened to my third day is I woke up, and I can only say I haven't felt this clear-headed and this energetic and this like awake and alive and connected to the energy of the world. I mean, I don't want to be too ethereal. It just, I felt like I was 8 or 9 years old. Like that feeling that you feel when you run outside to play when you were an 8-year-old and you just couldn't wait to get out there, and you were out running down the field and the sun was hitting you, and you were the grass, and you're climbing trees, and you're on the playground, and you're laughing and screaming and carrying on. Like I had that type of excitement and clarity and energy. And it was like a drug, actually. It was like I don't do any drugs, and I hadn't done any drugs in a while, but this feeling was like crazy, amazing. It felt so good. And then I was walking down the street. It was on the Upper West Side, New York City, Manhattan, and I just kept seeing all of the food places around me and realizing how inundated I had been by society, by our sort of culture, with food, and that it was taking up so much of my time and energy, physically and mentally. That I had liberated myself from this prison of food thought. It seemed like at the time I was free. I was free from the food obsession, which is constantly there for you to distract yourself with some other crunchy item, with some other sensation, with some sort of oral fixation that you have to that you have for the food that's everywhere around you and constantly being sold to you. Not to mention, what's in the food, and that's another episode about the toxins in food and the bad things in food. But this was just a revelation. I didn't spend the money on food. All of the money that I had saved in those 3 days, all of the time and energy I had saved preparing those foods, digesting those foods and excreting those foods, like all of that time was mine again. I had hours and hours each day, many hours each day. And then if you consider how much money I would have had to work for to pay for that food, that amount of work as well was saved, because now I don't have to do that work to pay for food. Of course, this can only sustain for, a certain period of time. So I did the fasting for 3 days the first time. It was incredible. And then every month I did it for 3 to 5 days for about a year. Then I take 2 months off. And now I've been doing it every 3 to 4 months for about 6 or 7 days. And I'm also doing it whenever I feel myself getting sick, which is a process of my body trying to purge some kind of toxicity inside of me. So I start a fast whenever my body starts a purge, a sickness, which is actually just me getting better. When my body says it's time for me to get better, and it makes me feel bad and produces mucus and sweat and fever and coughs and all that stuff, I say, okay, it's time to get better. It's time to fast. It's time to not eat. All animals, whenever they get sick, they fast. They don't eat instinctively, and it helps them heal better. So there's just a lot of stuff going on in the fasting world. There's a lot of benefits, I believe. And I've been doing it for a number of years, and the feeling I get is one of the key things that confirmed that it's a positive and beneficial thing. Not to mention all the studies, all the people, and the culture of fasting that is now coming in really strong on all social medias. And the realization that we're living in a food apocalypse of so many things being thrown at us, and we really don't need it. I think all in all, we could probably eat 10 to 20% of what we're eating right now. 80% of all of the food that we're consuming is completely unnecessary. And what would happen if 80% of the food economy were to just stop? This is one of the reasons why fasting is not promoted as much. It doesn't cost anything, and it disrupts 80% of the income and the industry of food, which is one of the largest, money industries in the world. So it's kind of at odds with a lot of people's incomes, and I understand that. A lot of people they own restaurants, they work at restaurants, they make food products, they're into health. So we still need to eat, but we need to eat 80% less than we're eating. And every now and then we can do a complete water fast to inspire our health, to inspire our minds, to clear up all the bad stuff inside of us, and connect us with our productive selves. The only thing that you don't want to do while you're fasting is you don't want to be lifting heavy weights, because you do need to exert a little more energy for that. And I have, in carrying lots of bags up the stairs, felt a little bit dizzy one time because I exerted too much energy while fasting. But I have fasted during full musical performances, weekends at Comic-Cons, and Comic-Cons have some of the worst food in the entire world. So I can do a fast when I'm doing an event, and I can perform, I can be clear, I can be precise, I can have energy, and I cannot have to subject myself to the awful foods that are there. There'll be more on the food apocalypse in another episode, but this is my episode on fasting, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Check online for lots of resources about it, but I think just start out with a 24-hour fast, see how you feel, then do a 3-day. I promise you're built for it. The human being is built for this, and if you don't ever access it, then you're never going to feel the superpowers that it can enable in you. So, and it's free. So there you go. Have a wonderful time. I love you all. I hope you benefit from this episode of Jason Paige, Just Me and You, the Jason Paige Show, right here. I love you.